So y'all just so blinded by how beautiful Rob is that there's no way he can be a traitor. Like, y'all just can't get it in y'all head that this man could be a traitor because he's just so beautiful. Be effing for real. Welcome to my channel. We're here. We break down reality TV shows with laughter and reenactments, all while giving it to you straight with no chaser. Because we don't just watch TV around here, we get into the things of the things. So sit back and relax. I hope you enjoy the video. Hey y'all, it's Chloe and we're back with another video. The Traitors season 4, episode 8, Rob is a snake. He's a snake. When I tell you I came into this episode, I'm watching it and I started getting excited. I'm like, yes, we going good. We doing the thing. And then by the end of this episode, I was so upset. I was so mad. I was definitely in my feels. But I told y'all I was going to be in my feels, right? I told y'all. Nonetheless, y'all, we got some things to get into. But before we do, if this is your first time here, sit back, relax, watch the video through. And if you like what you see and you like what you hear, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before and you have not subscribed, and you're back again, you like it here. And since you like it here, I want you here, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're one of my lovely members or subscribers, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm doing well, I'm doing okay, but I'm ready to get into the Traitors. So let's go ahead and do it. So Rob and Candiace are now in a terror, and y'all know that Lisa is gone. Rob is like, you seem pretty mad at me, Candiace. Would you like for me to explain? And Candiace was like, duh. Yeah, I would love for you to explain, because like, what was that? Rob literally was down there giving a whole speech to help get Lisa out, and he thought that Candiace wasn't going to be mad at him. Be for real, Rob. Be for real. So Rob was like, as a person, I feel bad. But as a player, she had to go. I'm saying it like she had to go for your game, Rob, or for the Traitors. Because to me, it seemed like she had to go for your game. Right? But here's the thing. We knew Lisa was going to go, Rob. That you didn't have to go as hard as you did. Even if you did want Lisa out, the damage was already done. You just went ahead and sealed it with a bow. So I just felt like it was unnecessary. It really was, okay? So then he told Candiace that he thought that she was pushing for Lisa. And I said, now, Rob, you was a goddamn lie. You was a goddamn lie. Because you was saying how you could tell that Candiace was trying to defend Lisa and this, that, and the other. And you sat there, you saw how Candiace was defending her at the round table. There's no way you could have thought that she was pushing for Lisa. Do you think Candiace is dumb? Because it seemed like you think Candiace is dumb. So Candiace is like, well, I didn't think there was enough evidence anyway. So that's why I gave away my throwaway vote. And Rob was like, yeah, to me. And you don't think that was uncalled for? Now, Rob says in his confessional that he knows that Candiace is lying to him, and he knows that Colton was coming after her. And he's not going to tell her, because since she's lying to him, he's going to lie to her. You started the lying, Rob. You started the lying. What are you talking about? Candiace did not vote for Lisa because she didn't feel like there was enough evidence. Point blank period. She said that at the table and she didn't vote for her. You're mad because she threw out your name, not because she's lying to you. But hey, it is what it is, right? So then Alan comes in and he's like, I can sense some awkwardness. But anyway, y'all can ask somebody to join y'all as a traitor tonight, or y'all can murder. The choice is completely up to y'all. Now, here's my thing. I was saying here, like, just go ahead and get another traitor. Because, Candiace, you need some backup. You need some backup. Rob is going to get you out of here. If you can pull for maybe someone like Johnny or something like that, then maybe you could stay. But Rob makes it very clear that he'd rather it just be them two. And Candiace feels like that might be a good idea because she doesn't want to recruit someone that can help Rob. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, girl, but why are you not thinking about getting someone that can help you? You're going to need it because Rob's a snake. He's a snake. So they decide that they're going to murder tonight. But it is clear that these two are now at war. And when the traitors are at war, that means the traitors are going home. Point blank period. One or the other is going home because they're going to put a target on each other's back. And that's exactly what they did this daggone episode. So now it's the next morning and everybody's at breakfast. So Tyra, Mara, Johnny, and Eric are the first inside the breakfast room. And they are talking about everything that happened, right? And they're realizing that whoever the traitors are, they're doing a really good job at fitting in. Okay, because it's getting really hard to tell who's a traitor because everybody is starting to become friends with each other. Everybody's starting to trust each other, but they still have to remember that there are traitors amongst us. So the person you could be the closest with could actually be a traitor. And that's what it's starting to get, right? So then they start talking about how they need to start focusing on the person that they least expect. So they start to say, maybe Steven. It might be Steven. It might be Steven. Because I would be shocked if it was Steven. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going in the wrong direction. But hey, go for it. Go for it. I don't know why I feel like I like Steven and I want him to stay because he's one of the faithfuls that does not bother me at all. A lot of these faithfuls get on my everlasting nerve, so I need Steven to stay a while, okay? But of course, they're going to try to make him a target, right? So then Tara was like, but what if there was a recruitment tonight? And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Absolutely, because that would mean that one of your faithfuls is now a traitor. And you know what? I always thought to myself, if I was a faithful, would I want to become a traitor? Because like, dang, like you really, got everybody's bag. You really going for the traitors for real. And now you got to kind of switch up your whole game once you learn who the traitors are, especially if you was on to the traitors. That ain't going to do nothing but get you kicked out. So maybe I wouldn't. I will only want to be a traitor if I'm initially a traitor because the way I would have to switch up my game would be way too much. But nonetheless, Dorinda comes in and she's just so surprised she's still here. She's so surprised. She's so shocked. And I'm just like, Dorinda is getting old. It's getting old. Every time you come into the breakfast room, we don't have to make an announcement how you're just so happy to see another day. Like, we get it. You got kicked out the first time. We get it. But she's thinking about how close she was to Lisa and how, like, she didn't want to vote for her. And then Lisa turned out to be a traitor. So now she's really thinking in her head. And I'm like, I don't understand why you acting so surprised that Lisa is a traitor, Dorinda. Because you was the one damn near feeding Colton all the information. Colton's like, is Lisa usually this quiet? And you're like, you know what? No, you were literally feeding into the delusion of it all. Well, it wasn't delusion, actually. It was the truth. But you were feeding into it when Colton was asking you about her. So why are you so surprised all of a sudden? I don't know. Dorinda getting on my nerve. She is getting on my nerve. So then Maura turned to Dorinda and was like, Dorinda, who do you least expect? And Dorinda was like, I don't know. So Maura was like, what about Candiace? Okay, in the back of Maura's mind, she's thinking about the conversation that she had with Colton when Colton was basically saying that he think the housewives are traitors. So that makes me believe that Dorinda might be next. Because if they got out Lisa and they working on Candiace, next up would be Dorinda, especially because Colton started putting in their head that traitors could be all housewives. You know what I mean? And I think that's how this is all about to play out, okay? So Maura said that she thought it was very strange that Candiace did a throwaway vote on Rob. And y'all know don't mess with Rob because Maura don't play that, okay? The same way he gonna protect her, she gonna protect him. And so I think that's when she was like, oh yeah, it gotta be Candiace because why is she throwing out Rob's name? Why is she throwing out Rob's name? If she didn't think it before, she honestly is thinking it now. So she felt that it was very unlike Candiace to do that because Candiace has been very consistent with sticking to who she's going to vote for and the consistency of the group and all the things of the things. So for her to just come out and do a throwaway vote at Rob seemed very suspicious. So Johnny's like, I think she just didn't want to vote for another housewife. Like, it's been proven that housewives don't vote for housewives, And I felt like that was going to be a good enough excuse for Candiace, but Candiace didn't really use it like I wanted her to. But nonetheless, for Johnny, he still feels like Colton is a traitor. And for Kristen also feels like Colton is a traitor. And so I'm like, good. Now it's time to focus on Colton because remember, we want Colton out. Colton was supposed to have been going a couple of tables ago and he's still here. So when Candiace came in, Johnny was like, I have a housewife question for you, Candiace. What is it with y'all? Like, y'all just don't vote for each other? So Candiace was like, listen, I came in and I had every intention of voting for Natalie. After I heard what Natalie had to say, I just believed her. I believed that she wasn't a traitor, and so I didn't vote for her. And the whole kiss thing with Lisa, it just wasn't enough evidence for me. So I didn't want to just throw away a vote. And I'm like, damn, Candiace, this is where you messed up. This is where you actually set yourself up to be targeted. Because last night at the round table, everybody was already under the assumption that we was going to vote for Natalie. You knew that Lisa was a traitor. You're a traitor. So to protect the traitors, all you had to do was vote for Natalie. But because you got too hot-headed and you were upset with Rob, you decided to throw Rob out there. And that made you look suspicious and not him. Because Maura is like, but you did throw away a vote because you threw one out on Rob. And Candiace is like, yeah, because nobody was going to vote for him. That's why I chose him. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you're not going to be able to get yourself out of this one. I want to believe that that would have been a good enough argument. But if I can be completely honest, Candiace started to look suspicious at this point. And so now everybody's coming in and everybody's like, who's not here? The last group of people walk in. And when I tell y'all I was shook, baby, I was shook. I was shook. Colton, oh my God. When I tell you I did not expect that at all, I did not expect that at all. I was sitting here like, they murdered Colton? Oh my God. I thought Rob was going to fight for him. I didn't think Rob was going to let this go down. But when I saw it happen, I said, oh, Rob is playing a real nasty game. A nasty game. Because I thought he would be like, the faithful of the faithless and keep his homeboy there. Rob said if the man got to go, he got to go too. Child, that's when I knew that he was not playing. He's not playing fair at all, and I kind of like it. I don't like it, but I kind of like it. You know what I mean? Because it's giving cutthroat. And to be a traitor, you need to be cutthroat. I just wish he wouldn't have traded on the Traitors. So Candiace said that she decided to murder Colton because Rob gave her the full control of who to murder, okay? She said she wanted to break up the alliance between them, so she decided that Colton had to go. Rob said he already knows that Colton had put Candiace's name out there, so for him, it didn't really bother him because that would just make her a target. And that's when I was like, this sneaky mother effer. This sneaky mother effer, yeah, he set her up. He set her up real good. And she didn't help because she made herself a target as well. Damn, Candiace. I don't know why I thought you was going to be able to pull this thing off, but damn, Candiace. So Alan comes in and was like, Colton's gone. Anyway, get ready for a mission. And he'll lose to them in painting. So we have to figure out what this mission is. But before we go on the mission, everyone is in shock. I mean, everyone is shook. Everyone's looking how I was looking when I saw Colton and I walked through the door. Because I didn't think they was going to murder him. I thought he would have to get banished in order for him to leave. And so I thought he was going to be a while for a long time. Because they act like they just love the ground that man walk on, okay? So while everyone is talking, Eric brought up Candiace. I said, damn. And Mark is like, yeah, I think it's her too. Because that throwaway vote was very strange. And even Natalie is like, yeah, it was weird that she didn't vote for me. And I'm like, Candiace, the thing is, when it first happened and she threw out Rob, I was like, yes, put the target on him. And now I'm sitting here like, I probably would have got kicked off because that was not a good move. It was not a good move because she is definitely on everybody's radar. And it didn't help that while Natalie and Mark are already, bringing up Candiace, Rob wants to throw out there, you know what? Candiace was the last name that Colton said to me. Meanwhile, while Rob is setting up Candiace is trying to get Johnny and Kristen to, think that Rob is a traitor. She's talking about how he was flustered at the breakfast, how he's dropping a fork and doing all the things, and how he's never really liked that, okay? And this is the first time we see him really, show some type of emotion, all because Colton was murdered. It was given very much nervous. And I'm like, that's not a good argument because everybody know how close Rob and Colton are. That's not a good argument. If we expected anybody to be upset, it would be Rob. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, Candiace, you're not as good as you think you are. Because I can see where you want to go with this. But when you look at it in a grand scheme of things, it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. So it's time for the mission. They have to make art for gold, okay? So they split up into teams. One team of 8 will stay at the castle. 3 will go away to the old gallery storage. But here's the catch. Only the 3 people that go to the gallery storage are going to be able to get a shield. There is one shield, and only one of those 3 people will be able to get it. So they have to decide who's going to go into the art room. Now, everybody starts, trying to yell out people's names. So everybody's like, just throw out names. And I'm sitting here like, my God, they just want to give Rob the damn shield. They want to give it to him. They're like, yeah, Rob. I was like, note to self, if you ever go on Traitors, get the most beautiful people out the house first. Because for some reason, especially men, everybody's blinded by a beautiful man. Because the way they act like Rob could do no wrong, they are literally handing this man the game. So Rob, Kristen, and Mark end up going to the art gallery, okay? So inside the castle, there are 6 empty gold frames, and each frame has a plaque that describes what the painting is. They then have to recreate the painting, take a picture, send it to the gallery, and then they have to match the picture as close to the artwork as possible so that they can win the money, okay? And they have 60 minutes to get it done. Now, I'm not going to hold you. Kristen's team did very, very well. They were able to recreate the descriptions of the artwork with no problem at all, okay? But the crazy thing is, Candiace and Eric and them, they did some really good recreations. I don't know if they just was like intentionally trying not to understand what was happening, but I'm looking at it like, yeah, this looks like what the descriptions say. They was pissing me off real bad, okay? But nonetheless, they were able to match 4 of the 6 paintings. They won $12,000, and now the pot is over $150,000. You know what? If I was in this game, I'll be playing like Rob too. Everybody gotta go. Everybody. So after the mission, everybody gets back to the castle. And they're still talking about who they want to bring up at the round table. Who do they think is a traitor? Now, Candace's name is going around. Steven's name is going around too. But, I mean, Candace's name is hitting really, really hard, okay? And I'm just so happy that Johnny went and gave her a heads up so that she didn't walk in there, like, you know, not knowing what was going on. Because Candace really didn't know that the people were coming for her the way the people were coming for her. So I'm glad she got that heads up, okay? So now Dorinda is trying to make sense of things, right? So she's like, Lisa's a traitor, and Lisa was putting her gold in Steven's box, which I think was very weird because them two aren't close, so why would she do that? Unless she was trying to help out a traitor, right? And so the gag is, Candace and Steven are sitting in a room talking together. Johnny and Dorinda want to come in the room, and Candace like, give us a minute, give us a minute. And I said, damn, y'all don't even know how suspicious y'all look. The simple fact that the whole house is thinking that Candace and Steven are traitors, and these two are in the room having a secret conversation that nobody else can come in the room and have with them is giving very suspicious, okay? At that point, I already knew that it was either going to be Steven or Candace that was going to go home, okay? So when Candace and Steven are talking, Candace is really trying to get Steven to focus on Rob. Like, Candace is working overtime trying to get people to say Rob, Rob, Rob. And I'm like, girl, you don't even understand how much of a bigger target you are putting on your back, okay? So now Rob comes in the room, and Candace and Rob are now having a conversation. And Candace asked him, she was like, do you know where my name is coming from? And Rob said, I mean, I heard it from almost everyone. Everybody's been saying your name. And I felt like at that moment, Candace kind of knew that she was going to have to fight or she was going to get banished, okay? He tells her that he's not going to push for her at the round table. He literally opens his mouth and say, I'm not going to push for you at the round table, okay? And Candace was like, no, I feel like you are. I really do feel like you are. And I'm like, well, given the track record you have, Rob, you do be pushing for traitors for no reason at all. Even if their coffin is already sealed, you're still going to stick a knife through it. So he's like, oh, so you really don't trust me, huh? No, why should she? Let's be for real, Rob. You say that you wasn't trying to go after Candace. You say you wanted to work with Candace. But how true could that be when you literally let her kill Colton knowing that people were suspicious of her? So Candace is like, why is my name coming up? And so Rob says that Colton mentioned her name. And she was like, and when did you know this? And he was like, I just found out this morning. That man is quick on his feet. He didn't stutter. He didn't trip over his words. He didn't seem nervous at all. He literally just said it like, I just found out this morning. I was like, the lies. That man is too damn good at this, okay? And so Candace is like, you sure it wasn't yesterday? You sure it wasn't yesterday? Because now she's starting to realize that she was set up. Because if Colton was putting out her name and he allowed her to murder Colton, he knew that she would then become a target. And now it's all making sense to Candace that she has been set up. Now, Rob tells her, like, I'm sorry. And she's like, are you sorry, though? Are you sorry? Because you were sorry to Lisa, too. Y'all, I was just sitting here like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So he tells her that he feels like she's taking this personal. And I said, I'm taking it personal at this point. Okay, so I know she's taking it personal. He's trying to tell her, like, it's just a game. And she's like, no, I know it's just a game, but you're a snake. And if I get banished tonight, your name is going to come up. I said, I don't know if you did a good enough job of trying to convince people that it's Rob, Candiace. I don't. I think that even if you do get banished, they're not going to look at Rob. They're not. They'll find any and everybody before they go for Rob. So he tells Candiace that he feels like she has bad sportsmanship. Rob had to let her know the name of the game is Traitors. And Candiace said, yes, it is, but you are a snake, not a traitor. So do you, and I'm going to do me. At the time, I ain't going to hold you. When Candiace said that, I said, yes, girl, get him. Yes, girl, go in there swinging and fighting. Yes, flip all this ish upside down. I saw a comment in my last review of Traitors where someone said, y'all give the housewives too much credit. And I'm starting to think we do. Because the way I just knew my girl was going to go in there and get herself up out of this. Nope, didn't happen. Okay, so we get to the round table and Johnny's like, I'll start. At this point in the game, it's hard to know who to trust and who not to, okay? He said that yesterday Colton said to watch out for Steven. And knowing now that Colton is a faithful and the influence that he has, it just gives him pause. Now, Steven said, well, did Colton say my name to anybody else since we following Colton, who's not here anymore? I just want to know. Dorinda said, well, I did think of something, right? I thought it was very weird that Lisa put her gold in your box and she was a traitor. What happened with that? Because I don't see y'all being real close friends or anything like that. And he was like, well, I asked her. She didn't have enough to win. So I asked her, could she give me hers? And she did. Like, I don't understand what the issue is. She would have never gave it to me if I didn't ask. So then Eric jumped in like, well, what I will say is that whoever the traitors are, they're playing a magnificent game. And I had to think about it. Are they really? Because y'all just got rid of one yesterday. Are they really though? Because y'all on to one and y'all just got rid of one yesterday. So then Eric says, listen, we are at a point in the game where we have to reevaluate everything from the very, very beginning, okay? Then he pointed out that Candiace has been very consistent the whole time at all these last roundtables except for the very last one. So then Candiace was like, well, Ron is gone, right? And because he was a faithful, I had to reevaluate, everything that was happening. And the options that were presented to me was Natalie and Lisa. She said, after hearing everything Natalie had to say, I just believed her. And I didn't feel like we had concrete enough evidence to vote for Lisa. So I gave a throwaway vote. And I'm like, girl, don't even throw out the throwaway vote. Just act like it never happened, because every time you mention it, it turns around and bites you in your ass. But then Eric was like, but everyone else thought it was Lisa. Everyone else thought it was enough evidence for it to be Lisa. And Candiace said, well, no, because that's not what happened. We all came in here voting for Natalie. When we all came in here, the consensus was we were voting for Natalie. And that's where you messed up, Candiace. You've always been consistent with the group. So voting Rob was crazy. If you hear yourself talk out loud, you can tell that this was crazy. So now Natalie and Mark are trying to figure out, well, who led the vote against Natalie for real? And Candiace was like, Tara. I said, girl, if you thought Tara was going to help you now, she definitely not, because you just threw her under the bus. And so now Natalie is mad at Tara. And Tara was like, I voted for you out loud. Like, you saw me put your name up when I voted for you. I don't understand why you felt like you was slighted at all, okay? It's not like I was trying to hide it. And I was like, points are being made at this point, okay? Now, Candiace then decided to bring up how Rob was acting during breakfast, okay? She said he's usually very calm, and he was like, dropping his fork and really clumsy, and that's not really like him. And Rob said, well, I was mad because Colton and I was very, very close. Y'all know that, right? Everyone knows how close I was to Colton. So of course I was going to be upset. I've dropped a fork before. This won't be the first or the last time I drop a fork. And I was like, I knew that wasn't going to be a good enough argument. I don't think Candiace really thought through how much damage getting rid of Colton was going to do. Because I think he did more damage and murder than he did when he was in the house for real. So Maura was like, okay, so Rob was a throwaway vote yesterday, but now all of a sudden you're suspicious of him. Now all of a sudden you're trying to, say that he's a traitor. Candiace said, well, I just explained to you why I started thinking that. I didn't think that yesterday. I started thinking that this morning because of breakfast. But this is when I thought we had a chance, y'all. This is when I thought Candiace was going to be able to swing the table, okay? Because she started talking about how she felt that Rob and Colton are really, really close. And she started to feel like Rob was feeding Colton information so that he can be the one to rally up, people to get murdered and banished and keep the heat off of him. And it'll just look like them two are so close. She said he was basically using him as a beard. Especially when it came to Lisa. Rob said, listen, Colton brought up Lisa first, and everybody was at the table when we was voting, okay, and she didn't get banished. So I told him, next time I'm going to help you, and that's what I did. Y'all, when I tell you my heart dropped, okay? I do this thing when I'm watching the Traitors and I'm taking notes. I take notes all the way up till I get to the round table because I need to lock in. I need to really see what's going on, right? And then I go back and take the notes. But this round table was so personal for me. So personal for me. I felt like Candiace could have swung this vote, right? I really did. But as I was sitting there watching everybody vote, when Johnny said Candiace, I knew it was over for my girl. When Johnny said Candiace, I knew it because Johnny was the one person that I honestly thought was not going to vote against her. And then when Dorinda said Candiace, I said, yep, send my girl home. Send her home. She's going home. It is what it is, okay? So, of course, Candiace get banished. And everyone finds out that she's a traitor. And everybody's just so happy. We got two traitors. We got two traitors in a row. Everybody's ecstatic. Everything's going good, right? Right. So now everyone's sitting back and they're reflecting and they're thinking about everything that's going on. Johnny is shook, y'all. He is shook because he is like, she was my best friend in this game. Outside of Tara, right? Outside of Tara. But she was his best friend in this game. And so he's really shook because he just knew in his brain that it couldn't be her. It couldn't be. And while Johnny's having this whole new revelation, Steven is out to get Johnny. He has literally just made Johnny a target because Johnny and Candiace were close. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you can't be friends with nobody. If you friends with anybody in this damn castle, when they go home, you next in line because that's exactly what's going to happen. Then he brought up how Candiace was like, Johnny should get a shield. Johnny should get a shield. And I'm like, damn, Johnny about to be a target and he don't even know it. He don't even know it. Kristen's sitting there trying to connect the dots. She's like, when Colton left, he gave us Candiace. When Candiace left, she gave us Rob. But it can't be Rob. Like, there's no way it could be Rob, right? That sweet little old boy. That's the all more reason why it should be Rob. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all don't want to win. Y'all don't want to win. If y'all don't want to win, just say that. Because in order to want to win the game of traitors, you have to assume that everybody could be a traitor. To literally take one person and say, there's no way this one person out of everyone here could be a traitor is crazy. If y'all want to hand the man the game, be my guest because that is exactly what y'all are doing, okay? And when Maura tried to bring up Johnny to Tara, Tara was like, nope, don't even do that. It's not Johnny. And I was like, thank you. Somebody got to have his back. Because Steven and Johnny are the main two that I like, okay? I think I'm flipping over to the faithful side. I don't know because Rob is playing a good game. And I always want to be on a winning team. So I don't know yet. I don't know. But here's the thing, y'all. We got one traitor. And I don't think that's allowed. Alan comes into the chambers and he tells Rob, you got to get you another traitor up in here, sir. Okay? So recruit one of these people and give them an ultimatum. Be a traitor or die. One or the other. So now, Rob is going through all his options of who he's going to pick. And when Eric saw that daggone envelope on the chair, he was like, oh, damn. I said, Eric just knew he was about to go home, didn't he? Eric's like, oh my God, I'm just so close to like this being over. Why? But let me tell y'all how like Eric don't need to guess, assume anything. He looks at the note and he says, that's the traitor's handwriting right there. It's Johnny. I said, If he had to play on his own, he would definitely lose. Because this is like the third time he has guessed something and had been completely wrong. Because it's not Johnny. The same way it wasn't Tiffany laughing. Like, sir, make it make sense. Nonetheless, when Eric came face to face with Rob and Rob pulled back his hood and Eric saw his face, I said, I thought you said you would die faithful. Huh? I thought you said you would die a faithful. I'm sure you're not going to die a faithful because it's Rob. Had it been anyone else, been a traitor, he probably would have died a faithful. But it's Rob, and there's no way he's not going to want to work with Rob as a traitor, right? Right. Y'all just go ahead and give Rob the game. Do we even need to watch anymore? Do we? Because I'm pretty sure he won. Anyway, y'all, that was the Traitors, episode 8. We almost getting down to the end, y'all. And my money is on Rob at this point. Let me know who you think gonna win because he's playing a good game. I can't be too mad at him because it is a game and I gotta stop taking it personal, right? That's what they said. That's what they said. Nonetheless, Rob, you're still a snake. You're still a snake. Anyway, y'all, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about everything that happened. Go ahead. Don't forget to like the video, hype the video up, subscribe to the channel. And with all that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.